For all the hundreds of thousands of target individual people who are out there in the world who, like me, are being persecuted by governments and intelligence agencies using electromagnetic communication systems and weapon systems to torture us on a daily basis, completely outside of the rule of law. And it is happening to such a large extent all over the world that it is common knowledge amongst many people, and that has for sure become more of a reality since they have chosen to make this social and political persecution against me, Stephen Bell, public. And they are using the same technologies as they are on hundreds of other thousands of people, and moreover they're using synthetic telepathy on a daily basis to communicate to the general public all over the world. And they're using other sophisticated and exotic directed energy weapons and communication systems publicly as well. And yet we have the so-called independent media who are not at all talking about these issues which are being implemented into our so-called democratic societies, which obviously we all know by now has nothing to do with democratic societies at all, or governed by the rule of law, but instead we are on an endless beginning into this technocratic authoritarianism, which is this madness that we're seeing specifically here in Denmark and in the States and United Kingdom, which are those countries where the program, which I'm involved, most prevalent. And here in Denmark it is absolutely insane how much the government is dictating over the general public through these communication systems and through these means, and using me as the boogeyman pretext to justify everything upon. And we have and there are so many so-called independent media, they won't touch the subject of directed energy weapons or target individuals or the Havana syndrome, which are all or more the same thing. And they are hailing themselves as being against the grain and against the tyrannical dictatorship which is being implemented all across Western societies, but they are not willing to touch the subject. They're not willing to touch the subject of the social and political persecution against me, Stephen Bell, which is happening in public. And instead, in this regard, they're actually quite willing, or a large extent of these so-called independent media who do not want to touch the subjects of the target individuals or directed energy weapons, they are quite happy to go along with the government's narratives in these regards, despite there never being any actual cases against me, Stephen Bell, despite I'm not being charged, despite I'm not being interviewed or indicted in any way, shape or form. And instead I'm just being attempted to be assassinated, attempted to be set up, to be imprisoned, institutionalized, or set up to be hurt, and all of this, as I say, is happening in public. And the government intelligence agencies are not only instigating this, but they're controlling and micromanaging every aspect of every campaign and active measure that are being waged in these regards, and no media outlets, independent or otherwise, are willing to touch the subject. And if that doesn't tell you we have a problem, then nothing will. So Houston, we have a fucking problem.